Two guys drove to work. Neither guy wore a seatbelt. One guy got a ticket. One guy didn't. The same two guys drove home. One guy wore his seatbelt. One guy didn't. One guy made it home. The guy not wearing his seatbelt didn't. Don't risk it. Click it or ticket. Paid for by NHTSA.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? It's time for the final countdown. The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's rock.
Broadcasting from the Big Peach of Atlanta, Georgia. A show unfiltered, unscripted, raw. The Patriot Angle Podcast. Alrighty, guys, welcome to the show. Welcome. How you doing, Jimmy? How's it going, buddy?
What's up? Can you hear me? Oh, you can hear me. All right.
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear, buddy. How's it going over there?
It's good. I like the backdrop, man.
Yeah, we definitely revamped it in the last week since you've been on since last week. Definitely put a futuristic look to it. So I like this one a lot better. Eric does, Alicia does. Yeah, we got definitely, like I said, improving little by little. The panels that we had on fell off the fucking wall, but it's all right. Replaced them with these for now. You know, it is what it is. Sometimes you have glitches. For those who's just joining in, welcome, guys, as we're getting in some listeners coming in from who's dominating the platforms right now, Eric? Okay. So we got Rumble obviously dominating the platforms, coming in around 800 live views on Rumble, which is awesome. Facebook, I see about 10 on Facebook, lumining in, so that's okay. And then the Unfiltered Patriots of America, which is our Facebook group page, guys, only got about 1 tuning in. So that's okay. That's okay because, you know, this will replay after it's done. Rumble does have a replay on it for up to 24 hours, guys. After 24 hours, it becomes a regular video. So after 24 hours, the replay goes away on Rumble. That's throughout the entire platform. That's how Rumble works. But
is it really? I'm not too familiar.
Yeah, Rumble. Yeah, Rumble does give you a 24-hour what's called an overlay replay on there, and then after that, it goes into its full video. So don't be upset, like, you know, like, oh shit, you know, we can't hear the Patriot Angle podcast with Michael and Jimmy tonight because, you know, the live replay is over. No. It just goes. It basically it cancels out of the live panel of that feed. After that, after 24 hours, guys, you'll see it. It'll go back to the regular video content. So the only thing that sucks about that, guys, now is after the 24-hour lapse expires, the live chat box goes away. So you're not allowed to chat live after that 24 hours. But that's okay. You know, you can always comment on the regular comment section of Rumble. But, guys, welcome to today's show. Welcome. We got a mixed episode today. We're going to talk about pro wrestling and the world of MMA. What is going on with MMA and pro wrestling? Guys, we have a lot of stories here on the show. We're going to talk about Roman Reigns, what's going on with Roman Reigns. A lot of rumors coming out of WWE that he's possibly leaving. And basically going down the same path as his cousin, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson? Could we see Roman Reigns in the next big Hollywood set as his older cousin, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson? So big news and rumors on Roman Reigns possibly leaving the company. Just the other day, a lot of people were questioning where was Sasha Banks and Naomi on last night's Monday Night Raw. They were scheduled to be at Monday Night Raw last night, but apparently maybe some contract issues going on with Naomi and Sasha Banks. They just literally, Jimmy, they walked the fuck out of the company. I mean, they got there yesterday afternoon around 2:00, sources say, but then they just walked out.
Yeah, I was reading that. And yeah, we were supposed to have somebody a little bit more well-versed, but my buddy never got back to me. So we'll handle it as best we can. We definitely, me and Mike are on the same page as far as some of the articles going on out there. So I'm sure there's a lot of interesting stuff going on. Sometimes you can't talk about politics all the time. Sometimes you gotta mix it up a little mixed bag. It does good for the soul. You know what I mean?
You got to mix it up. I want to give a big shout out to somebody tuning us in on Facebook. Big shout out to Richard giving us a thumbs up here on the panel. Thanks very much, Richard, tuning out of New Jersey. Believe it or not, Hazlitt, New Jersey. So thank you very much, Richard. Much appreciation, much support. Thank you very much.
Yes. So I did read that article. That's interesting about Sasha Banks and her counterpart, which is Naomi.
Yeah.
That takes a lot of balls, especially in the WWE, because they've always had the, Vince has always been a tough guy to work with. If, you offer nothing, I mean, that was always like his thing, So showing up to Raw and then walking out, I don't know, maybe their contract's going to, if you're not, you got to sell. If you're selling, they'll work with you. But we've seen what he's done in the past. I mean, he's an old man now. And
yeah, he's pushing almost 80.
Yeah, I don't watch it as much anymore. Like, I'll catch it here and there. But, back in the day, even if you were a shooting star, if you fucking rubbed him the wrong way, he was going to, like what they did with Bret Hart with the Montreal screw job, where they screwed him into the belt to Shawn Michaels. So, I mean, that says a lot. And I think, if you read it the right way or we're on the same page, I guess people were kind of calling for other people to kind of walk out with them in solidarity, and nobody really gave a shit.
Well, there's a lot of rumors coming out of Wrestle Talk, a big YouTube channel called WrestleLamia, which basically, I mean, they're always right when it comes to rumors and stuff. WrestleLamia just earlier today just posted this on their Facebook, not Facebook, YouTube, excuse me, their YouTube channel, saying that, like you said, the contract might be expiring, but we could see Sasha Banks and Naomi enter their 30-day no wrestle. What do they call that? It's a no wrestle clause. They can't wrestle for 30 days for any company. So they could be going into a 30-day, what's called a no competition clause. So if they do that within the next couple of days, could we see Sasha Banks and Naomi on companies like AEW or TNA?
AEW definitely picked them up in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of what they built their platform off of. Like, they have a lot of original people, but they also, picked up a lot of people who had a lot of tenure in the industry. So why wouldn't you pick someone up like her, who's kind of done it all at the in WWE? So, listen, these people, they have creative differences sometimes. Like the writers want them to do some bum shit, and they don't agree with it. And I'm back in the day, that was always like the thing, right? Where it was the wrestlers, they had in their contracts some kind of clause in there that gave them some free will over their content, over their brand.
Sure. And we just seen recently big AEW star coming out of AEW, going back to his original roots there of WWE. Cody Rhodes, just the last month and a half now has been on WWE. So, a lot of people, they go from company to company. Of course, like one company will promise so much money. You got to go where the money is, Jimmy,
Yeah, well, he has a long history with WWE, his family.
Oh, of course, the Rhodes family, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. Yeah,
they help build that company. Like those types of greats, those types of people help build that company, and they rolled with the punches whenever they got, new characters that they that they had to be. You had Goldust, you had his father, you have the brothers. So, they owe something to WWE. Maybe not everything, but I know he came back WrestleMania. I watched WrestleMania. He came back and he won, which was kind of cool. So, and if I get anything wrong out there, I don't want the wrestling folk don't beat up on us too hard.
Right? Yeah, they'll be like, no, he wasn't supposed to do that and everything. But I tell you what, I tell you what, Jimmy, I heard the rumors about Cody Rhodes. I heard that he might be going to WWE during WrestleMania 38, right? I heard it, but I wasn't really I wasn't really too certain about it. And when that music hit, and the fog machine started blasting the fog, and he started coming out of the ramp there of the entrance, I was like, what the fuck, man? You talk about ratings. The ratings just jumped probably by 50 points, I mean.
Yeah, listen, I think that, I don't know. Like I said, I don't catch it as much anymore. I'm more of an MMA fan, but
yeah,
wrestling definitely holds a certain place in my heart. Growing up as a kid, I watched, wrestling all throughout the 90s. So, and I watched a little bit of it in the early 2000s, and then I pop in here and there, and I have friends that are really big time wrestling fans, and I tuned into WrestleMania, and I was like, this is fucking entertaining, dude. I'm like, I haven't watched a WrestleMania in years. I go, and their entertainment factor's still there. And again, if you're a hardcore fan and you're like, I wasn't impressed by it or whatever it is, for someone like me, that's kind of what they want to do. They want to capture us, guys us, to come back and watch it. I thought it was entertaining, yet.
Yeah, I thought it was entertaining too. I mean, what'd you think of, speaking of entertaining and really good matches, both of them, they sold this match tremendously. The way they had that in-ring chemistry between Charlotte Flair and Ronda Rousey this past WrestleMania. I thought it was phenomenal. And then, of course, they redid it at WrestleMania Backlash. We're going to plug this video in here. But before we do, Jimmy, what's your insights on that, man? That was a fucking great match.
It's cool because, like I said, I didn't really watch much of Ronda Rousey when she left MMA. And then when I tuned in and found out that she had the whole Roddy Piper gimmick going on, I thought it was cool because it brings you back. And I was like, that's a great way to honor the guy and keep it going. And then for her to take on, Ric Flair's daughter, I'm like, holy shit, Ric Flair's daughter's a wrestler. You know what I mean? I wasn't even up on it like that. So it definitely intrigued me to kind of catch up a little bit more and kind of poke my head back in because they have some good content. I mean, it's not the Attitude Era and it's not the Aggression Era, but
it's definitely it's definitely not that 1996 through maybe early 2000. I think was the best era.
Attitude Era, in my opinion, was, but you're that's what we liked, man. We got to see that wrestling transform into this hardcore shit, and it was almost like, what else can you do? What else can you bring to the table? And ladders and chairs, thumbtacks, baseball bats, things on fire, blood, gore. It was great. And then they realized they had to change it up a little. So, but now that I watch it, I have a nice respect for it. As an adult, you definitely see the difference being an MMA, more of an MMA fan. But
by far.
It was entertaining, man. They had Jackass there. That was cool. And I'm just like, everything from the early 2000s is coming back. So I really appreciate it.
Oh, yeah, by far. We got somebody coming out of Rumble saying, please, Michael and Ken, we love to replay or relive the little segment match, if you can plug it to your show, coming out of who the hell is this? Okay. The Nightmare of Stardust is asking us from Rumble to plug that in. We're going to plug that in. This is a really good match, guys. Check this out if you missed it. Fucking phenomenal between Rousey and Flair.
Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte Flair. Who can make their opponent utter the words, "I quit"? If you do, you become SmackDown Women's Champion. There are no pinfalls, no countouts, no disqualifications. We expect this match to be as physical as they come. And now Rousey with 2 kendo sticks. You quit! Hell no! Charlotte trying to retreat out into the WWE Universe.
No! This is my title!
And back off the top of the barricade.
Ronda Rousey, how much can she take?
Natural selection on a chair. Looking for the figure 8. Will Ronda Rousey utter the words, "I quit"?
You quit! Never!
Chair to the hip of Flair. Oh! Ronda tries to rally. Charlotte cuts her down again.
Ronda, this is your last chance. Happy Mother's Day.
Ronda Rousey and Ronda dragging Charlotte's arm through the chair. Rousey looking for an arm bar. Charlotte made a mistake. Rousey gonna capitalize.
I was hoping you'd say that.
Oh my God, look at the arm.
I quit!
Rousey's the champion.
Ronda does exactly what Ronda said she would do.
Charlotte Flair has suffered a fracture of the radius.
She just broke Charlotte's arm.
Ronda Rousey wins her first ever SmackDown Women's Championship by beating one of the all-time greats.
Tell you,
That was pretty good.
What a fucking match that was. I mean, she went to a length of even like fucking putting her in what was like almost like a
It's an armbar.
was it an arm bar? I thought it could have been a triangle. It looked like a triangle at first, but
I'm impressed because I wish I would have seen that match. I do have pay-per-view, so I should have checked it out, but that was interesting. And she kind of brought that MMA element, like her and Lesnar, when Lesnar went back, they kind of brought that like that MMA element back. Because before you had submissions, right? But they were like the fancy, like gimmicky submissions. Like, you know, a figure 4, Boston Crab, all those types of things, right? And this is like they're going right into like that would be an armbar, of course. And the best part is that we know that she can do a real armbar and really break your arm.
Sure.
Rousey could whip any of them.
I mean, I understand it was scripted. I really do, right? But if it was real life, she would have, I mean, literally probably paralyzed her, you know, if it was real life.
Yeah,
I mean, the woman she's a fucking beast. I mean,
they're not in the same category. They're not in the same category. She's able to wrestle because she's got the athletic ability, the fitness, but you know, putting those two things together is not the same thing. You could
you see the backstage analyst, you know, journalist, whatever you want to call them there for WWE, saying that Charlotte Flair suffered a fractured radius, you know, in near the wrist. I don't know. You think that's scripted to kind of sell the storyline a little bit, or you actually think that she actually did it?
That's all scripted. I mean, listen, those mistakes do happen, and you know, you're in the heat of the moment, and you might not realize that you're applying that shit too hard, and that person might not have, you know, doesn't have that much flexibility in that area, and
Yeah.
You can easily do that. You know how many? Think about all the wrestlers that leave the ring with concussions, that leave the ring with sprains and fractures, that leave with contusions. I mean,
Yeah.
and like you said, there's a level of scriptedness to it. There's a level of selling it and selling hits and selling moves and tagging each other and shit like that. And I gotta say, man, I'll actually go back and watch that replay because it looked like
You got to watch it. I mean, you could probably catch it on Peacock. If you download the Peacock app, I know it's on Peacock. The WWE network is pretty much no more in the United States. It's only made exclusive now to the fans of the UK and overseas. But you
Is it
catch it on
really?
Peacock. Oh yeah. They made that deal about probably about 4 or 5 months ago, where you can't. If you're going to subscribe to what they call now, Jimmy, they're not called pay-per-views. You have to use the correct pronoun for them. They're called live premium events. That's what they're called now.
Okay.
So when you catch the live premium event, you got to go on to Peacock, which is the new live streaming platform for WWE for the United States. And you catch it on Peacock. It's cheap as hell. It's actually cheaper than the old WWE network. It's only like $4.99 a month. I mean, you can't afford $5, man. There's something wrong with it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I just pulled that up. WWE is fully converted to Peacock. Now it wants to make more content. The WWE will host its WrestleMania 37 event exclusively on Peacock as part of a $1 billion rights agreement. Holy shit. I got to follow up on that. That's insane.
That's a huge contract that, that Vince and the whole, executive board across WWE up in Connecticut, man, they pulled that contract hard. I think they were willing to spend like almost like 400 or $425 million for that contract. I mean, that's a big contract. Yeah.
I can only imagine how hard it is to have your own television network. So it was probably the right move for them to lessen the overhead and have somebody else, take control over those types of things. So I get it. And plus, like I said, the old man he's still in charge. And I mean, I don't know how much of a grip he has over the company still, but I mean, he put in a lot of good years, and he built that company up from the story of Vince McMahon is super interesting.
Oh, have you caught the documentary of that?
I didn't. I mean, I just over the years I've seen plenty of things about Vince and like how he had a father that wasn't involved in his life, and then all of a sudden
he came from a dirt poor community. He was living in a trailer park in North Carolina.
Well, I like the fact that his dad wasn't really involved in his life, and he comes back in, and his dad's doing wrestling, promotions, and he's running his own circuit, and then Vince links up with him, takes over the company, and then builds it to what it is now. It's like it's a great American story if you really think about it.
Yeah, WrestleMania 1 literally set the map with Hogan and Roddy Piper, teaming up with Mr. T and Paul Orndorff. That was literally the first WrestleMania in 1980s. That literally set the map for them. And then fast forward 3 years ago, you remember the historic match between Hogan and Andre the Giant when he pressed the Andre the Giant. I mean, I think I was like maybe 4 or 5 years old when that match came into play.
Well, that's I was watching that. Was it Behind the Ring or no? It was some documentary on the WWE network when it was still the WWE network.
Yeah.
And Hogan's talking about how he's talking about his love for Andre the Giant, basically. He was larger than life, and he said that night he goes slam me, and he's like, "Oh shit, okay." I mean, he's 500 pounds, right?
Yeah, he was a big man.
And he goes and he picks him up, and he slams him for the win. That was kind of to push Hogan into to push him into that stardom and make that Hulkamania.
Well, I was about to say that's when Hulkamania was pretty much born in like around 85, 86. 86, 85 is when literally Hulkamania just, took off the map, so to speak. But guys, we got to get a quick break in here. I want to get into this story here right when we get back from this break, Jimmy. A former WWE superstar has been arrested on previous charges in the state of New Jersey. You're not going to want to miss this, guys. Be right back after these words.
I'm Burt Jones. When I played for Georgia, we won the SEC championship.
Here's blocked, and it'll be first and goal, Georgia.
Not just because we had great athletes, but because we were bonded together as teammates, united by that G on our helmets. An important lesson about the power of unity. And it's why I'm so opposed to teaching critical race theory in our school systems. Instead of teaching children about what divides us, we should be teaching our children about what unites us.
Well, right now, former WWE superstar is back in jail, charged in a deadly crash in Volusia County that happened back in March. Tamara Sitch appeared before a judge this morning. She's known to wrestling fans as Sunny. News 6's Catherine Silver was in the courtroom with what led up to this decision.
Prosecutors argued they wanted Tamara Sitch back behind bars because they believe she is a danger to the community. Today, a judge here agreed, noting a history of alcohol-related incidents. Tamara Sitch is back in handcuffs now that a judge has revoked her bond.
And we have seemingly one event after another related to alcohol abuse.
Judge Karen Foxman pointed to a list of law enforcement encounters in the 49-year-old's past. Among them, 3 prior DUI convictions in Pennsylvania in 2015 and 4 recent run-ins with the law this year.
There's an arrest out of January, an arrest out of February related to alcohol. This happens in March. And then in May, there's a Marchman Act.
And she has consistently shown that she's going to get behind the wheel of a vehicle intoxicated, and not just at a low intoxication level.
A crash report states Sitch's blood alcohol level was more than 3 times the legal limit on March 25th.
Real quick, what's your last name?
Sitch, S-Y-T-C-H.
An officer testified in court Friday that Sitch admitted she was drinking vodka earlier that night and had left her home to get a Diet iced tea.
I observed an unsealed bottle of Grey Goose in the passenger side floorboard of the white Mercedes.
The report says Sitch ran into a vehicle stopped at a red light on US 1 and Granada Boulevard, killing 75-year-old Julian Lassiter. Sitch refused to comment on the case.
I think that this whole process, everybody's been hurt, not just the family.
Her fiancé had this to say about the hearing.
They should have decided that she was a threat to society before they granted a $225,000 bond. Had me pay $22,000.
Tamara Sitch will remain in jail while she waits for trial. In Volusia County, I'm Catherine Silver, getting results, News 6.
Holy shit. You know, Jimmy, this is not the only time that this you remember her, right? WWE's Sunny from the Attitude Era.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's a shame what happened, but it's nothing new in the wrestling community with people that are dealing with substance abuse and drugs and shit like that. A lot of those motherfuckers look what happened to Scott Hall, man. Fucking
God rest his soul. Yeah, he just passed away.
Razor Ramon, dude.
Yeah,
I mean, it seems like she's been having run-ins and then they didn't even. I think they revoked her from the Hall of Fame for the Divas.
Oh yeah, they took her out. Vince took her out, and then I think I'm not sure if Triple H, because Triple H, he has a lot of pull now in the company as an executive.
Of course.
Yeah, he's on the board right now, and I think they reinstated her in the WWE Hall of Fame. But this is nothing new. You know, quite recently they're talking about Volusia County. Right over, not too far from Daytona Beach, Florida. Her troublings have been in the state of Florida quite recently. This goes all the way back to Pennsylvania, and then just earlier this year, she was arrested on a DUI charge on Highway 35 in Monmouth County, New Jersey, near Manasquan and Matawan, New Jersey. So, I mean, she is a New Jersey resident. She's from Matawan, New Jersey. But, I mean, it's terrible. Like substance, yeah.
Hey, man, we've seen this happen with a lot of different people in the organization of wrestling, and I've met a couple. Couple guys along the way on the street that wrestled for like ECW, WWF, stuff like that. And
oh, really?
Yeah, they seem like they were living normal lives, but you don't see those demons. Listen, for you to want to, your career is beating yourself up every night in front of a crowd. It goes to say that you're not, you're probably not your normal person walking the street. Your normal person walking the street is not comfortable with getting tagged in the face, not comfortable getting slammed on the floor or running around a ring and sweating and in front of people. And those people are special people, man. And either they're built to be superstars or they have a lot of demons, and this is something that they enjoy. And obviously,
I mean, you bring up a lot of good points, man. You brought up, the great late Scott Hall, right? Formerly known as Razor Ramon, right? From the late 90s, right? When he was, hey, Chico, and he'd take the toothpick and, throw it at the camera. He played that remnants of almost like, of an Al Pacino Scarface. That's what he resembled.
I think that's where his character originated from.
Yeah, I think he did say that in a documentary with Jake the Snake Roberts. Which, speaking of Jake the Snake, I'll plug in a small little clip. We got Jake the Snake that was just recently on Joe Rogan podcast not too long ago. Kind of digging the dirt on professional wrestling, and Joe Rogan.
Yeah, I seen that. That was a fucking awesome. That was an awesome podcast, man.
Yeah. But we're talking about, wrestlers, dealing with, substance abuse and drugs. And you can talk about Sonny, real name Tamara Sitch. You could talk about Scott Hall. You could talk about even the Hispanic wrestler that was dating that young one, Paige, right? Even Paige, the one that was everybody made fun of her because she looked like Casper the Ghost because she was fucking white as hell. But I mean, it's terrible how, some of this fame, Jimmy, goes right to their head, Well,
I think it's more. So when you think about the old school wrestlers, and I'm not talking about the new age wrestling, WWF, because there is a lot of prima donnas. There's a lot of, everyone's a superstar, and like they ride first class compared to like the guys who built the company. When you really think about
by sure, yeah. Some of them have their own private jets. I mean,
Yeah, so when you think about the guys from the golden age, which was the golden years were before the Attitude Era, right? Those guys, built the company, built the WWE up, but when they back in the day when they wrestled, they came in when it was still circuit wrestling. Like certain families owned certain regions of the country.
And that's when you had your territories, you had all your territories. You had WCW, you had NWA Northeastern, you had NWA South. NWA was a big fucking circuit, man, back then. You had NWA Northeast, you had NWA Southeast, you had NWA Pacific, which was out in California. You even had fucking what the hell was it? Dusty Rhodes that ran a small circuit out of Tennessee and Texas. So you had all the territories. You had different people competing for grand supremacy of professional wrestling.
Yeah,
some of these guys they didn't fly jets. They fucking they drove together in rent a cars and stuff like that.
And that's what I'm getting to is like, what did they do after a house show? What did they do after a promo? They got drunk, man. They got in the car. They banged out some brewskis. They smoked a joint, fucking whatever, popped some pills. So those guys, that's why you see that era, that generation of guys, having a lot of those issues because they were fucking straight up animals. They were beasts. That's what they were there for. They were there to wrestle, to entertain, and beat themselves up. And and they entertained the hell out of us through those years. So I think those guys contributed to our childhood. So I definitely give them many thanks and praise for that. and
sure,
some of them succumb to that. After banging you're banging Percocets or some kind of pills, on the road. And I'm saying allegedly because I don't know who did what, but
they had to do a lot. I mean, you see
yeah.
in the early '90s with the accusations that Hulk Hogan was trying to, pretty much save his integrity as not as a wrestler, but also a human being. He was saying, "Oh, I was forced to take steroids by Vince McMahon in the early 1990s."
I mean, listen, I wouldn't be surprised, man. Listen, Vince was a businessman, and anything to get his fucking. See, people don't realize that Hulk Hogan is a big guy in general. He's not a little guy, but I'm sure he had those. I'm sure he was like encouraged those guys to do a little something, right? Like it's like when you see those old beauty pageants and they're like measuring waist and they're like, you need to go on a diet and lose fucking 5 pounds. You're a fucking fat pig. And the lady's like 120 pounds and they want her to be 115, so I would not be surprised if he stood in there and said, hey, Hulkster, if you want to get your career up and running, you're gonna have to bang a little juice and fucking hit the fucking weight room a little bit more. Cause I need,
we did see a difference though. You remember seeing a difference with Hulk Hogan from the early 90s to when he went over to WCW in the late 90s. Huge fucking difference. Hulk looked like skinny as hell, man, when he was in WCW.
Man, he probably got off the juice a little bit earlier.
Yeah, he had to get off the juice. Yeah.
But if you look at a lot of the guys nowadays, though, I feel like wrestling doesn't have a lot of what do you call that?
Big guys anymore.
Yeah, just not a lot of variety. There's the word, right? Like everybody,
with the exception of like the most recent big guys, such as like your John Cena, your Dwayne The Rock Johnson, maybe. Those are the most recent guys that kind of came out, that were big. But
what I mean by variety is you don't see like early days in the business. You have big fat guys, big natural guys, little guys. Skinny guys. Now I feel like they're all fucking jacked to the gills and ripped. So and listen, a lot of those guys are still on juice. I don't give a fuck.
Oh, sure, they have.
There's no getting that big and that ripped without having a little help from taking the syrup. You know what I mean?
Look at John Cena. I know he's not on TV anymore. He's doing a lot of his movies and stuff. Kind of did the same thing that Dwayne The Rock Johnson did a few years back. Said, the hell with this. I'm not putting my body through hell. I'm just going to make movies, You could see in John Cena's body, man, just the fucking veins popping out, man.
Oh, yeah. Listen, that's part of the business for them is their physique. It's not just like you're going to come out and be some average sloppy fuck like myself and do well. If I come out and wrestle as a big dude, I better have one hell of a fucking gimmick, or I'm a really badass heel at that moment, and I got to be strong as shit.
Sure.
In order to do that. But I also read an article that about Raw. Believe it or not, their ratings. This article came out on the 17th, which was today. That since last week, they actually seen an increase in viewership, which is kind of surprising since they had that whole thing with people walking off.
I think a lot of it has to do with some upcomers coming back to the company. We talked about Cody Rhodes earlier in the show. I think it has a lot to do with people like Cody Rhodes coming back. I think you're seeing, behind the scenes type of stuff, where they're kind of like releasing some of their old producers and bringing back the old, like kind of attitude era of the producers. Cause you could see that, the people that are actually running the show behind the scenes, in the production trucks and stuff like that. I think that makes a difference. Your writers, right? You have story writers in the back of the scenes there, writing stories out a little differently than the last couple of years. So I think that has a lot to do with it, Jimmy.
Yeah, and then you also have, since you have Roman Reigns kind of stepping out for some summer absence, I guess that's also probably bringing buzzing where people are like, who's gonna who are they going to write in as?
Yeah, we talked about that earlier in the show. I'm seeing a lot of rumors coming out of WrestleMania, and I'm also seeing Wrestle Talk basically reporting on it, saying that Roman Reigns could be in the possibility of legal issues. What the fuck?
Huh.
Yeah, check this out, guys. We got a video here, Jimmy. Check this out, guys.
There is a huge update about the Roman Reigns leaving WWE situation. So many fans have been wondering, is Roman Reigns still in WWE, or has he already left the company? We now have an answer to that question. Roman Reigns, of course, sparked huge news when he, at a house show, broke character, said that he probably wouldn't be coming back to that location again, and many fans wondered, well, why wouldn't he be coming back? And then it was revealed Roman Reigns is indeed going into a new phase in his career, and WWE may not be part of that new phase. And adding more fuel to the fire, it was officially announced by WWE today that Roman Reigns will not be a part of the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view in June.
Wow. He's not even on the fucking card next month. Holy shit. And this guy carries like both of the titles. He carries the Universal title and the WWE title.
Yeah, since WrestleMania. So,
yeah.
I mean, I don't know, man. That's I haven't really seen much on it other than that he's taking a leave of absence, but I wonder what the leave of absence is over.
Yeah.
Is it over? Is it because if he was, I'll be honest with you, if he was taking a leave of absence due to pursuing a movie career, I'm sure that Vince would say we want to probably relinquish those titles.
But see here, if he was going to do something similar to what his older cousin did, The Rock, about 5 years ago, when he first got into Hollywood.
Longer than that. The Rock.
Yeah, about 10 years ago. Excuse me. Where the hell's my head? It's been a long time now.
I think the Hollywood Rock was even further back. I'm talking maybe like 05, 06.
I'm talking. Yeah, I know it's 05, 06, but I'm talking about like when he was shooting movies and also wrestling at the same time.
Yeah, that was early 2000s.
I'm talking about when he first said, you know what, I'm going to take off from wrestling for a while. We didn't see The Rock for a while, and then all of a sudden,
Scorpion
3-4 years later, yeah.
When he went to do the Scorpion King, let me look up the year.
Yeah, as you're looking that up, Jimmy, as you're looking that up, what I'm saying is we didn't see The Rock for a while, and then 4 years later, he came back into the full-time competitor as a wrestler.
That's
Roman Reigns could be doing the very same thing.
Didn't Roman Reigns have cancer though, and he was out? You think it's
he had leukemia. He had leukemia like right before the pandemic started, like around 2019, early 2020.
Do you think he has a health? You think he has a health scare going on?
I don't know, but like when he was going through leukemia, you seen his body sculpture like a lot thinner than he actually is now. I mean, in the last 2 years, you see his body like bulked up tremendously. I mean, you could he's a little bit lighter than his cousin, The Rock. I mean, The Rock is like fucking built like a brick shithouse, but I mean,
he's had two separate battles with leukemia, and I mean, I hope for him it's not a health scare because, I mean, I don't know the guy personally other than him being a wrestler, but he made it to where he is. Not only because not from his family, but who he is too. And guy's a fucking superstar. And I'd hate for it to be something like that because that's tragic if it is. And knock on wood, I'm just throwing it out there.
Right.
I'm speculating, and I don't know what it is. You guys out there would know more. And if you're listening, put it in the comments. Why do you think he's actually?
Yeah. Leave a comment here. We'll probably put that as the Q&A on the Spotify link on that platform. Those who are not familiar with Spotify has an actual section on the episode where they're launched, where there's an actual Q&A. So we'll put that in the Q&A section. What's going on? With with Roman Reigns. What's your insight on that? So, yeah, let's switch the tides here. We talked about last week. We got into it a little bit. A lot of us didn't know what the hell's going on in the world of MMA, right? Cain Velasquez. He's in trouble, Jimmy. He's going to be doing some time.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, I'm hoping that his legal defense gets him off on something. I mean, right now they gave him attempted murder.
I seen that. Yeah.
Hopefully, and listen, I hope he doesn't take any plea deals. Take it to trial, man. I mean, unfortunately, for a state that he's in, California is okay with child molesters and chomos. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna say it, but like they're pretty comfortable with that type of behavior out there. I don't know to what level, but what I mean is, you have, you just having those types of really leftist kind of havens for those people to kind of try to be predators in, and that guy preyed on the wrong person. You preyed on an absolute alpha fucking predator. And if given the chance, that guy Cain Velasquez would kill him with his hands. So
sure.
And what that guy did to his daughter, or allegedly did to his daughter, is unthinkable. And I definitely stand with him, and I hope that nothing.
Well, they denied his bail for the second time. Did you see that?
Yeah, I'm not surprised though. Out there,
you're talking about a plea deal, with the lawyers and everything. The lawyer went out and tried to get another bond set, and the judge literally denied it for the second time. They're like, it's pretty serious for former MMA fighter and world champion, Cain Velasquez.
It's fucked up, man. And anything and those types of people should be should take a dirt nap. I hate saying that, but I don't mean your average person. I mean somebody. If somebody did that to your family member or your child, how would you feel? He's doing what most dads would do. I don't care what anyone says. Like, no, they wouldn't do that. Well, put yourself in that position, and it reminds me of that kid. That kid where back in the 80s, his karate instructor took him and for a couple of days. And
are you talking about the karate kid, Ralph Macchio?
No.
Okay.
I'm not talking about the karate kid.
Oh shit. Okay.
It was a young kid. His karate instructor he disappeared with him for like a couple weeks. And when he came back, the police finally found him. The father found out that he was sexually assaulted, and his father was waiting in the fucking airport when they brought that guy in. It's a huge clip, and the guy's in handcuffs, and the police are escorting him through the airport. He's at the fucking payphone in the background. The news is there. He fucking turns around with a revolver and blows the fucking guy's brains out right there.
Yeah, I seen that. Yeah,
and that guy was found not guilty by a jury of his peers because most people sitting in that seat understand how it feels, and I understand justice. People want justice to run its course, but I feel like it's not running the way it should be.
Oh, sure, yeah. You just mentioned that story. Extreme Sports Podcast here on Rumble literally said the same thing. I'm reading some of the comments that are coming in on Rumble, and they're saying the same thing. Yeah, Jimmy'The Rant. Yeah, we agree with you, pal. That was a fucking phenomenal story that came out. Never forget it. Extreme Sports Podcast. Thanks very much. Big hat tip to you for tuning into tonight's show. Much appreciation.
What I will say though is at least he's got people in his corner, like Daniel Cormier is in his corner, and that helps, man, because you need somebody to have your back in those times. And he was a great fighter. And I hope justice is served and he's let free.
Well, hopefully. But I mean, here's a little clip here we'll plug in. Check this out, guys.
Former mixed martial arts champion Cain Velasquez will remain in jail while he awaits trial on attempted murder charges. The judge denied his request for bail this morning. KTV's Ann Rubin live for us tonight right there outside the courthouse with more on the story. Ann?
Velasquez's attorney had wanted him released on $1 million bail with electronic monitoring, but the judge said not enough had changed in the case to change her mind about bail. For the second time, a judge has denied bail for former UFC champion Cain Velasquez, citing his reckless disregard for human life. Velasquez is accused of attempted murder and 10 other weapons charges after he allegedly chased down a man accused of molesting his 4-year-old relative. That man, Harry Goularte, was released from custody without bail. He was in the vehicle along with his mother and stepfather when Velasquez allegedly opened fire.
This is Paul Bender. On the day of the shooting, Cain Velasquez followed this family, stalked them, and chased them at over 100 miles per hour.
Bender apparently suffered one gunshot wound, resulting in nerve damage to his arm, and he no longer has the use of 3 fingers. Goularte and his mother were not injured.
Cain Velasquez was a one-man wrecking machine, and they were scared to death.
But Mark Garagos, attorney for Velasquez, says Goularte's family members are not the victims here.
God damn, turn this shit off, Eric. Turn it off. Turn it off. That's garbage. You see what they're doing? They're fucking hate. Yeah.
Imagine being a fucking defense attorney and having to defend that bullshit. Imagine sitting there with your fucking hair parted to the side and you're fucking defending these pieces. You know, whatever. That guy's a casualty of war. He got shot. All right. Yeah. I get it. If he's not involved in it. But this fucking guy, I don't know what to say, because people fucking commit crimes every day in the hood, and they...
Yeah, but you see the lawyer painting the picture like Cain Velasquez was a one-man wrecking machine and this and that and had no remorse on his actions and this and that. You know, I mean, come on.
Of course he didn't have any remorse on his actions.
He fucking sexually assaulted, his daughter, right?
But that's the society we live in. You let the fucking kid diddlers out. You let them out on no bail. And the father who fucking tried to seal a deal, he's locked up and he can't even get bail. How is his bail denied? They're giving people all across the state attempted murder charges, all types of shit.
Yeah.
Bail. They give them RORs, released on own recognizance, or however you say it. They're giving RORs, right? This guy is asking for $1 million fucking bail. Yeah, we're denying that because it's reckless. It's reckless. Yeah. But they're giving fucking gangbangers. They're giving them the fucking red carpet out of the jail. They were letting people out during COVID. Like, yeah, just you could leave now. You don't have to fucking do the rest of your time in here. You can do it from your house. And yet, somebody who has such a tragic story like that is going to be held.
They were pushing for the what was it? The $1 million bond or something. And
$1 million bond.
Like, that's not enough.
No, she said she hasn't seen anything in the case to convince her that he should be bonded out. So, but I mean, he's in a state where it's stacked anyway. It's like right outside of where New Jersey would be. You know what I mean? Like,
that's where he's being
no, he's in Cali. But what I'm saying is. The politics of California, New Jersey, and these fucking retarded states that we live in. Unfortunately, that's the politics of it. A guy like that is being.
But here's the thing. If he does serve his time, right? Like, what do you think they're going to give him? You think they're going to give him the full, pretty much slap, 20 years, or what's going to happen?
Maybe a 10 with an 85.
Like 10 with good behavior.
No, 10 with an 85, like he'd have to serve 10 years. He'd have to serve 85% of 10 years or whatever.
Okay, so 85% of 10 years, were you looking at like between like 6.5, 7 years?
Yeah. Okay. And then there's all types of programs to release them to, which I hope it doesn't come to that. Take it to trial. But unfortunately, like I said, when you're in a state like that, are you really in a trial of your peers? Depending on where, if these fucking people out there are signing legislation in for the fucking child diddlers, for the fucking kid, for the chomos, then can you actually expect those same people to understand you? And
I totally agree. I mean, viewers on Rumble saying, let's make this video go Rumble. let's make this video go viral. Hashtag justice for Kane. I agree. Put the hashtags in there, guys. Justice for Kane. Let the guy out. He's defending his daughter's integrity. He's defending his family's honor. If you have some type of assailant coming into your home, right, or anywhere for that matter, and they commit this heinous act of just disgustedness, right, Jimmy? They should be able to defend.
Yeah,
right?
Well,
How old is Kane, by the way? He's in his 40s, right?
I think he's on the cusp of 40.
Okay, so about 39, 40 years old. So if he does if he does serve like 10 or possibly 7 or 8 years, right, that you're looking at around 50 years old by the time he gets out on parole, right? So
I don't know. I guess I don't know what his charges are: attempted murder and weapons charges. So, and I don't know if he has a jacket. What I mean by jacket is I don't know if he has any priors to that. And I know it's California. I think California is a 3-strike state. I don't think he has 3 strikes, but I think
do they have him in for not only his protection, for probably protection against the other nut jobs there in that prison? Do they have him in what's called the turtle suit? You know what the turtle suit is, right?
Nah, I don't think so.
You know what I'm talking about, right? That green.
Yeah. Listen, they'd have to. That guy's a fucking born killer. Like,
yeah,
I don't think he's gonna have much of a problem with the guys on the yard. Especially, they know who he is. They know he's a fucking killer with the hands. And California prisons are different than like East Coast. He's not gonna, he's gonna go in and they're not gonna they're gonna be like, oh, you fucking, we know what you did. We got your back. You know what I mean? Like, wow, I tell you this much though. The other motherfucker, he gets locked up. He's getting $150. He's getting a slice right across that face, so everybody knows.
They released him. Did you see the video?
That's what I'm saying. If he gets locked up, good luck to him, man, because you're not gonna have to worry about MMA guys. You're gonna have to worry about guys coming for your booty, and they're gonna put a marking on you, so they're gonna slice you right on the face, man, and that's what they do.
Yeah, Big Brother's watching very, very closely, right?
Don't take a shower, motherfucker, because they're coming for your ass.
I'm telling you. I want to talk a little bit more on Kane, but I want to get into we're talking about MMA. Guys, did everybody see the fight? I don't know if you've seen the fight. This was not too long ago, actually. It's old news, but I'm going to plug it in anyway because there's not a lot of people talking about it. I actually seen the fight, Jimmy. It was a fucking phenomenal fight. The return of Roxy, right? Between Roxy and – did you see that fight?
Which one?
It was Roxy Michaels versus Del Silva.
I might have missed that.
She's a badass, man. She reminds me of another Ronda Rousey.
The last fight card, I didn't catch all the fights. So
yeah. She held her weight very, very loosely on that fight. We'll plug a little bit in here just in a moment here. Eric, you got the video, right, brother? All right, thanks. So we'll plug it in just in a little bit here. I mean, fucking Roxy, man. She fucking held that. Roxy Michaels, she held that fight great. She was whooping ass. I mean, she's a tiny little chick, don't get me wrong. But I mean,
listen, UFC has really stepped it up. I only watch UFC. I catch maybe a little bit of Bellator here and there. I'm not really up on that.
I don't like Bellator. I think this is my opinion. One man's opinion over another, right? That's the country we live in, the greatest country on the earth. We are allowed to do that. But I don't like Bellator. I think it's scripted. I think it's canny. It's phony. I don't like it. I like the regular MMA. I like the regular UFC shit. I don't like that Bellator shit.
If you're doing like UFC 274, right? The fight card, you had the main event with Charles Oliveira and Justin Gaethje. Justin lost. Justin's a fucking phenomenal fighter, but he lost. That submission was insane. It was a first round submission, and I didn't expect it to. I didn't expect it to go like that because when you watch these cards, man, you want it to go. You want it to go to distance. You want to see a fucking slugfest. And he called it like I'm gonna submit this guy, and he did. And you had Rose, Thug Rose. She lost, which is by decision, though.
Yeah, we were talking about that last week, and yeah, you had to correct me. I'm like, because I mean, I watch a little bit of it. It's been a couple of years since I haven't watched it. I'm just getting into UFC and the world of mixed martial arts. But this Roxy fight not too long ago, I mean, it had me out of my seat. Check this out. She was literally putting her in a fucking arm bar and a weird ass other submission.
More low kicks there from Michaels, and you see punches as well.
Oh, wow.
De Silva backing up to the cage. Not looking good here early. Big knees inside. Wow.
Whoa, she threw her up. Look at that.
Powerful move there from De Silva to just throw Roxy to the floor.
Now she's giving her attitude.
Roxy is upset about that. Seems like maybe complaining that she grabbed the hair. And yeah, we're going to see a warning here. Maybe even, 1 point deduction there from referee Cesar Lascano. That kind of explains why she was able to throw so well. It did look like maybe she got a handful of hair as she threw her opponent to the ground. Certainly can't do that.
And overall, Michaels is a better all-around fighter.
Showing that early. She moves into the clinch again, presses the action to the cage.
You see that, Jimmy?
that's like a novelty fucking.
I know it's hey folks, you're probably wondering like, what the hell is Michael talking about? It's lingerie MMA, but it's in the same industry as UFC. It is. It is. But it's more like for like entertainment,
That's just entertainment.
Yeah, you look at a bunch of girls in their underwears and stuff like that. But you see where Roxy had her in the fucking? It was like an innovated arm bar, like a standing arm bar. It wasn't. No, you know how your arm bars usually when they're on the mat, right?
Yeah.
But she was standing up doing the arm bar. I've never seen anything like that before. That was fucking.
Submissions are a lot harder to pull off than people think they are because these guys are so and girls, they're so well rounded now. Like when you watch the earlier days of UFC, it was like a fucking bar brawler versus a karate guy or a jiu-jitsu guy versus a boxer. But now pretty much they're pretty much well rounded. So sometimes you see some crazy submission finishes and I'm like, holy shit, how'd they pull that off? And it was the right recipe. And the last fight night that UFC had, the Blachowicz versus Rakic, that was a good fight. Fucking guy slipped and got.
I heard about that. He slipped. What the hell did he slip on? He just slipped, right? It was like a goof.
Just blood and sweat all over the floor.
Yeah, I know, but I mean,
that was a good fight. The Davey Grant fight was good. Those guys were fucking gassed out. Davey Grant took it with a round 3 TKO, but those guys were fucking gassed out by the third round. Bantamweights too. On top of that, I'm sorry, it was the Ryan Spann fight. So it was Ryan Spann and against Kudalaba. I want to make sure I say the name right.
Kudalaba, that's how you pronounce it. Yeah.
I'm sorry, they came out. Now I'm thinking about it. Ryan Spann was talking about I'm gonna get him into a submission. I'm gonna submit him. They came out. They were fucking slugging it out, and Kudalaba's a brawler. He fucking slipped. Once he slipped, it was over. That was it. Here came the submission. He was throwing some sloppy punches, some wild fucking haymakers, and
Joker boy out of on Rumble's commenting on the Rumble saying that was a fucking poster fight, the stupidest fight in fucking UFC history. Poster fight? What?
I mean, the way it ended though, it sucked. I mean, you're watching it, and like I said, he was throwing some sloppy haymakers. He fucking slipped, couldn't recover, got submitted. It was over. That's what the fight night's for. It's the filler in between. It's the people scrambling. You got journeymen fighting to try to see if they can get back into a contender spot. You got up and coming people there's the venue's tiny, and you hear most of the you hear the corners a lot more, on the microphone than you do. There's no crowd there, so.
Oh no, yeah.
There's
There's something coming out here. I've been noticing it lately. I don't know if you've seen it or paid attention to it. Fucking Ken Shamrock, possibly saying that. I don't know if this is a joke or what, but Ken Shamrock just came out but almost a week ago, last week actually, late last week, saying that when Cain Velasquez comes out of prison, him and I will go toe to toe once again.
What a fucking. That's
once
like
again.
That's like
they fought. I gotta remember. Did they fight?
That's like a scumbag thing to say. Guys in jail, like you're talking about when he gets out, we're gonna go toe to toe. Like I don't give a fuck if you know.
He said once again. I don't remember Ken Shamrock fighting Cain. Did they ever fight? Once again, maybe it was a scrub match or something behind the scenes, but I don't remember them fighting. Ken's too old, man. Fucking Cain would bury him. What is Ken, like fucking in his he's just 60, right? 61, 62?
Let's see. Ken is
maybe late 50s. I don't know.
Yeah, he's like 57,
57, almost 60 years old. You're going to get a 60-year-old man in the octagon?
I mean, I don't know. He's probably just saying it to be relevant. I think Shamrock's last fight was who the fuck did he fight last? Was it Randy Couture?
Like a couple of years ago, right?
Last fight. I'm pretty sure it was. I'd have to look at his stats.
Couture, yeah, that fight was like I think 6 years ago or something.
Was that his last fight?
I think so, about 6 years ago.
I'd have to see his stats to really. I don't want to say.
I don't know, man. He's a punk, man. I mean, Ken Shamrock is, even when he was in WWE, a lot of people don't realize that he was in WWE in the 90s. They did a whole segment with Shamrock and Stone Cold Steve Austin. And Stone Cold Steve Austin even said on his podcast, if you check out Stone Cold Steve Austin's podcast, Stone Cold Steve Austin actually says that Shamrock, he's a punk, and he's always been like that, running his mouth. And this is coming from Steve Austin, and he says.
Yeah, but you put Ken Shamrock in his prime, he'll fucking kick Steve Austin's ass in his.
Oh prime. Yeah, he was great in the 90s. I mean, he had that great. Yeah.
You had those guys make that crossover to wrestling.
Yeah.
Him, Dan Severn, but those guys would fucking kick your ass. Like those guys were thugs, man. They were brawlers. Like
you talk about brawlers. Look at Brock Lesnar, right? He's been back and forth over the years between UFC and WWE.
Well, oddly enough, yeah. I mean, Cain Velasquez was the one who put him out. That was the first one to take Brock out in the UFC.
Yeah, Brock was running his mouth too much.
Brock had a loss to Frank Mir from a funny submission because he didn't expect it, but Velasquez was the first to really rock his shit, and then Lesnar went out on that. He had that infection in his intestines.
Yeah, that's kind of that's the tattoo he has on his stomach hides that scar.
And then when he came back, Overeem fucking just fucking kicked him right in the fucking shit. And after that, he was like, "I'm done. I'm going. I'm leaving." He went back to WWE. But I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff coming up in UFC. You got the next fight night where Holly Holmes is the main event, the main card. So we'll see what that looks like.
Speaking of Lesnar, did you see on social media I call him the idiot. He's funny, but he's got an MMA background. Matt Riddle. He's on WWE now. That's what he goes by Matt Riddle, but he was in MMA. Matt Riddle But on WWE, he goes by Riddle, right? He's kind of like partnering up with Randy Orton, right? They're the tag champions now of WWE. He said, when Brock's ready to come back, I want to have a match with Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 39 next year, right?
Well, they all say that because that's their
Brock didn't take him serious. He's like, you're gonna if Vince is gonna give me a worthy opponent, it better be somebody better than fucking Matt Riddle.
Yeah.
Have you seen Matt Riddle? He's puny. He's small, real small. He's like a welterweight, I think, maybe 160
yeah, he's
pounds.
a little guy.
Yeah,
he's a little guy, and his last fight was 2014 in the UFC, and then I guess now he's over at WWE. But it's easy for those guys to make a transition because they're already their fitness level is already there. And
well, they got the mat skills. They developed the mat skills. Yeah.
Like when you train MMA, like when you train jiu-jitsu or wrestling, they teach you how to fall, like how to slam the mat when you fall, like flat backs when you're falling, slap the mat, take it off when you fall into your side. They teach you all those things. So those guys already have the fitness level, and they're like, oh, I'm not gonna get punched in the face, but I got to do a little bit more cardio. Whatever, bring it on. Fuck it. I'm used to fight. I'm used to doing, fucking 25, 30 minutes where I'm at risk of fucking getting my shit kicked in. But now I can go to WWE and all I got to do is fucking run around, you're beating your body up there too, but it's not on the same level as getting fucking pummeled.
Oh, so, sure. You see Matt Riddle, he's got the same concept in WWE now with, wrestling with his bare feet. And then he still has the yoga shorts, so to speak, for men. I call them yoga shorts for men. It's kind of nasty looking, but anyway. But guys, what's that, Jimmy?
Well, I just wanted to add that UFC 275, the light heavyweight for the main event. You got Glover Teixeira, right? Which actually he actually trains with a buddy of mine. Buddy of mine owns a school over here, a dojo, and he trains with a lot of those guys. Daniel Gracie, what the hell's the other guy? He just came into UFC. He's in his corner all the time. He came from kickboxing. Alex, I got to get his name, but Glover Teixeira.
This is in New Jersey?
In New Jersey, yeah. So not too far from where I'm at. He has his own school. Like I said, the guy that buddy of mine, he's the same fraternity. He's an ex-heavyweight champion for CFMC.
Oh, wow.
Fucking awesome. That guy, he's huge. He looks like he is a killer. He's a fucking killer. He looks like a beast, but the guy would give you the shirt off his back. You know what I mean? Like when
he's got a true personality to him. Then you're saying?
Oh, absolutely. Those are the guys. They already know, like they could physically do whatever they want with you. You know what I mean? But they don't choose. They're so disciplined. But this fight, you got Glover Teixeira, Jimmy'The Rant. I like that guy. He's a fucking oddball, Jiri. So I'd like to see he's got a real kind of unorthodox, weird way of fighting. So that should be a good fight. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, as we depart here, I want a quick question here to ask you, Jimmy. You're like the super fan of MMA. You know more of it than I do. But where do you see Lesnar go? We just got done talking about Brock Lesnar. I don't know what his contract is with WWE. We haven't seen him since WrestleMania after he fought Roman Reigns for the title. He lost the title, believe it or not, to Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
So where do you see Lesnar going? Do you see him coming back at Hell in the Cell, their next card next month? Do you see him going back to UFC and signing a contract with Dana White again? Like, where do you see Lesnar going now?
I don't see him coming back to UFC at all. I don't see him coming back into MMA. I think the only
he's done with MMA?
I think he's done. I think the only possibility of him coming to an MMA match would be maybe if somebody calls him out and it's like an exhibition type thing.
Like a publicity type of fight that you're saying, right?
Yeah, because listen, Lesnar has a wrestling background. He's not a slouch. Like he's not some guy. All right, you have CM Punk. CM Punk thought that he had a chance in.
That was a fucking joke when CM
got
Punk went from where do you go? He went from WWE to UFC, then he went over to AEW, and then he just we didn't see him for 4 or 5 years.
Well, but I'm saying if you talk about, he talked a lot of shit about coming to MMA, and Dana White told him. Dana White was like, "Listen, dude, this is not your fucking thing. Wrestling's your thing. I respect it. Well, you step into this octagon, and you're in fucking trouble." And he stepped into the octagon, and he got fucking demolished, just fucking embarrassed, and never came back to MMA. So
because here's the thing, he might be a brawler in the world of pro wrestling, but when you make that transition, and he made a fast transition from pro wrestling to MMA, right? He tried the Bellator type of circuit. Didn't work out in Bellator. Then he went from Bellator over to UFC. Like you said, he got demolished. I've seen a couple of the matches. I mean, it looked embarrassing on his part.
I thought he only had one MMA fight, to be honest.
No, he had a few. Look him up. He actually was in Bellator. I think there was they call them shadow matches when they don't, or dark matches when they don't televise them. He did have a couple dark matches, shadow matches of Bellator.
He's got one loss and one no contest, but they're both UFC. That's what.
Were they? I thought there was.
And that's from Sherdog, and Sherdog is
okay. I thought I could be wrong. I thought I did see 2 dark matches when he was in Bellator.
Nah, he went. He tried to go to UFC, tried to do his thing, and he got his ass kicked. But again, to the point of Brock Lesnar, like I said, he had a wrestling background. He's also a fucking beast, a fucking freak of nature, being that big and being that mobile and agile. So you don't see many people like that. And
he moves quick for his size too.
That's
lot of
what I'm saying.
He's
fucking scary, man. I wouldn't want to come across a guy like that big, who can kick and fucking move the way he does. He's like a fucking gorilla, dude.
Yeah, I mean, the big promoter there of wrestling, WWE, Paul Heyman, just said on his Instagram account not too long ago on Heyman Hustle, on his Instagram account, Heyman Hustle, he said that Lesnar, without a shadow of a doubt, will go down as the greatest competitor, not only in UFC, but as a dominance of WWE as well. He dominated WWE. He still does. I mean, I know it's scripted, but I mean,
people love seeing that. And when you talk about MMA, though, if you look at the 3 largest selling MMA fighters, as far as pay-per-views, you got Conor McGregor, Lesnar, and Ronda Rousey. So, we know who sells events, and that's why McGregor still has appeal too.
Well, Ronda Rousey, pretty much the top, the top dog, or the top, the female version, right? The top female dog of WWE now, right? She just won the title against Charlotte Flair. So I think Vince has a lot of confidence in Rousey as a seller, right? She can sell tickets, right? I mean, she sells out events, arenas, and stadiums. She did it in UFC. She could do it in WWE, right?
People want to see that. They want to see that. They like her gimmick, man. They have the best gimmick for her.
But here's the thing. If they're gonna keep the the SmackDown, because there's so many different women's championships now in wrestling. You have the SmackDown title, you have the Raw title, then you have there's so many different ones now. But she just won the first SmackDown title. She won the Raw title 3 or 4 times, but the SmackDown title, if she's going to keep that title, if WWE is going to keep that title on her, right, in the company, and she's going to be the new face of the women's division there in WWE, she's got to get more moves in. She's got to go back to the school there in Orlando, Florida, where they train there, the Performance Center. She's got to get back to the Performance Center, and she's got to get more moves under her belt, because the arm bar, the knee kick to the face, a few others that I think she took one from Rowdy Piper. She calls it the Piper's Pit. She's got to get more moves in.
I would agree. I think her gimmick as
Yeah.
being like the MMA crossover.
Yeah, because she reminds me of a
up.
female version of Brock Lesnar. Like, if they're going to put the title back on Lesnar and they're going to make him the face of the company again, Lesnar again, and Rousey, they have to get more moves under their belt. Like, no one, come on, Lesnar's a beast in the ring. We all know that. But I mean, how many fucking F5s do you want to see on TV?
Yeah,
How many? You know what I mean?
But he's solidified as a he was a WWE wrestler that successfully transitioned over to MMA. So I won't say that Brock has to change who he is because he built his reputation in the WWE.
I understand, Jimmy, but like no one wants to see F5s and no one wants to see German suplexes continuously through the entire match.
That's him, man. I mean, listen, when you had Undertaker and Kane, you seen pile drivers and fucking choke slams.
Yeah.
Years until they retired. So, I mean, that's their thing. Like,
I mean, the Undertaker, Mark Calloway, the real name of Undertaker, Mark Calloway. Mark Calloway said on believe it or not, what fucking podcast was he on just recently? After the Bell with Corey Graves podcast, right? On After the Bell just a few months ago, Undertaker came out in public and said, I'll admit, my character, my gimmick was the greatest gimmick in the last 30 years of professional wrestling. But I tell you what, as a competitor, I didn't really have a lot of good moves.
Well, he said it, man. When you really listen to the Taker's thing, right? Like, he fucking when Vince called him, he was like, what are you good at? And he's like, I'm good at like singing in the shower or some stupid shit. And he goes,
that was the call in early 1990 when Vince called him up, and Mark Calloway was working with as Mean Mark, right? From WCW with Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman had managed Mean Mark, and who else was part of that stable? Diamond Dallas Page and Mark Calloway, Mean Mark. And I mean, literally, when Vince said, we're thinking about, making you the Undertaker, like he didn't know where the fuck that gimmick was going to go. Fast forward 30 years later, and he's a phenomenon,
And what was it? His first appearance, he came out of like some weird fucking, what was that? Like,
who brought him into the company
or something? No, what did he come out of? He came out of some weird.
No, who brought him into the company was the original manager for Paul. It wasn't Paul Bear. It was before Paul Bear. It was $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase. Ted DiBiase brought him into the company, but he brought him in as what the fuck entrance was that? I have to look it up. It's before the smoke and the pyros and all that other crap and the coffins. He didn't even come out of a coffin. He came out of something. I think it was just like, what the hell was that? I forgot what it was.
I don't know. Maybe I'm getting it mixed up, but yeah. I mean, you had a lot of great.
But when they hold on, when they partnered, because we're going to close it out here soon. When they partnered him with Paul Bear for those fucking 15, almost 20 years, man, his career took right off with the Paul Bear, like, oh yes, like that voice, hearing that, like, and a lot of people don't realize this, man. Jimmy, do you know that Paul Bear was an actual real life mortician?
Was he?
Yeah, he was a real life mortician. Look him up. Wikipedia actually shows him as a real life mortician. So he sold that character like very, very well.
A lot of those. Man, those were definitely the golden years for me watching that. I don't know. I don't have that same feeling.
Yeah, but well-deserved Hall of Fame Undertaker going into the class of 2022 this past year at WrestleMania.
Oh yeah, that was great.
That was like years in the making right there. Like he should have been inducted like fucking 5-10 years ago, to be honest with you.
And honestly, him losing at his last WrestleMania kept it classy in my opinion because he was cool with it. Like he didn't have to have this kind of record.
But a lot of people are questioning the person that should have broke the streak. It shouldn't have been Lesnar. Do you agree with that? Like, Lesnar was the guy that broke the streak.
Well, I think Lesnar is a big name and a big face in the company, and I don't have a problem with him.
But Taker said, I don't have a problem. He said the same thing. I don't have a problem that Lesnar ended the streak. He was the man chosen by Vince McMahon and the executive boards of WWE to be that chosen guy to end the streak, that 20-plus year streak, the winning streak of WrestleMania. So,
it was a great run for him.
Really great run. Next year, we close it out here. We're going to do 2 Hall of Fames, right? 5 guys you want to – or actually, let's do 3. 3 guys you want to see for the 2023 WWE Hall of Fame. Who do you want to see in there next year?
Oh, I'd have to – you know what? I'd have to do more research to see if – I don't know who's in and who isn't. Like, I know the guys, the big names that are in it, but are the Dudley Boys in it?
They went in I believe 2018 they went in.
Yeah, I wouldn't even know, man. I'd have to actually see the list and see.
Here's my 3, right? My 3. I would like to see if Brock is going to retire, because we don't see too many news coming out for next month's card for Hell in a Cell. I don't even think Brock's on the card. If Brock is if his last match was at WrestleMania 38 this year against Roman Reigns, I'd like to see Brock go in it next year, right? Brock.
Oh, yeah, he's definitely going in. It's just a matter of when they're going to do it. He's definitely in it.
I'd like to see Michael Cole, which is an announcer. He's been on the company for 20-plus years. A lot of people don't realize that. He started out in 96 or 97.
And he wrestled, too.
Yeah, he wrestled against Jerry the King Lawler, which was funny. The Kiss My Feet match, or I think it was the Kiss My Ass match or something.
Yeah.
So, Brock Lesnar, Michael Cole. And the third I'd like to see is Shane O'Mac, right? Money, right? Mr. Money Man himself, Shane McMahon. I'd like to see Shane in it next year. Shane put out some great matches with the Undertaker, the Hell in the Cell match.
He had some high flying elbows in his day. Yeah. I will say that, but I don't know. Maybe he's reserving it. Maybe he's reserving it more for the guys. Like, I mean, he deserves every right. He wrestled in it too, but maybe he's reserving it just for the guys out there.
Yeah. Last one. Let's do the 3 for MMA. 3 guys you want to, if they do, that they don't have a Hall of Fame, do they?
No, not yet.
Okay. If Dana White comes out and says, you know what, I want to compete with Vince, we're going to do a Hall of Fame for 2023. Who do you want to see in 2023 if they do a Hall of Fame?
Oh, shit. I mean, obviously, like Hoist Gracie, without a doubt, would have to go in there. Yeah, because, I mean, their family is the fucking creators of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. You know what I mean? Like, they're the fucking purveyors of it. GSP, George St. Pierre.
Yeah,
would definitely lock that in, and Randy Couture, Ken Shamrock, fucking the
hopefully Cain Velasquez,
the Iceman, Chuck Liddell, without a fucking doubt, would love to see Chuck Liddell's that dude, man.
I was gonna go with Chuck Liddell. And you can mix it up with women too. I do Chuck Liddell, Ronda Rousey, without a doubt. I know she's WWE, but you could do that, even though there's like a no contract clause. You could still do that. I've seen other companies do that shit. Even AEW, they've done just quite recently they brought Mickie James, which is in contract with TNA, right? She came over this past Royal Rumble, and she was actually fighting in the Royal Rumble, carrying the fucking TNA women's title on her. So you can do that cross contract shit. So I would do like Ronda Rousey, Chuck Liddell, and I would have to do, I'm not really sure the third. I would have to say between like Velasquez and Lesnar, without a doubt.
The only person I wouldn't give it to is, I know you're a big Rousey fan, but
without a doubt, yeah, I love her.
I wouldn't say that she was a good fighter, but I wouldn't say she displayed what would be Hall of Fame for MMA, because after her first loss, she like ran away and threatened to kill herself. And then
she was going through she was going through like some fucking marital problems, man, with her.
I get it, but like for that to happen and then her to come back and then leave again, I wouldn't I reserve that in the MMA community. Putting in that work is what's valued a lot more.
Yeah, she found her happy place, Jimmy. She's actually a Twitch streamer, so she's on Twitch and Facebook.
Is she really?
Gaming. Yeah, check her out. Yeah, Facebook Gaming, Ronda Rousey. She's always doing charity runs and she's a gamer. So I think maybe she found her happy spot. But she just had a baby. I know she just had a baby and she came back after she.
I know that.
Yeah.
I will say it's been refreshing. Actually, doing a full show, no politics, a little bit, but
yeah, we're gonna get back to the politics tomorrow. You're on board for tomorrow, right?
I'm on board.
We're doing the final installment, guys. As I close it out, I have to plug this in and I have to promote it, guys. We're gonna do something really, really good tomorrow. Something brand new that we have never done on the show before. Something funny. I think everybody's gonna laugh. Okay. And we're also going to close out the final installment with Joseph M. Leonard, the author of Terror Strikes. Guys, I made 3 installments already with this guy. We're going into the 4th and final tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. So we're going to have Joseph M. Leonard. We're going to close it out with his story, his political viewpoints. And then also, too, we're going to introduce, guys, social media American Jeopardy. You're not going to want to miss that. It's going to be funny. Really, really good categories that we put on the board. We have the board. It's sitting on the other side of the studio here. I don't want to put it on the show just yet. You're going to have to wait till tomorrow. I think you're going to be really impressed with these categories. Really funny categories. Like, Mike, were you fucking drunk when you were making these categories? No, they're one of a kind. I think you're going to like it, Jimmy. I know Joseph's going to like it. Can I have this for $400? I'm not telling you the categories.
Good.
Actually, I'll tell you one category.
All right, give me one.
The one category. Can I have Joe Biden is an idiot for $400? But we can't say, Alex, can I have Joe Biden is an idiot for $400, Alex? Because Alex is not going to be on the show, right? It's going to be me. I'm the host of Jeopardy, not Alex Trebek. So.
Well, remember, Biden has the new movement. It's called FAGA. Fucking America good again.
Yeah, I've seen that. that's the new cult, right?
Yeah.
But Jimmy, it's been great, man. Kind of talking sports with you. Got into MMA, got into the world of professional wrestling.
Yeah, nobody beat us up, man. We're mixing it up, and hopefully you enjoyed it and you tune in for tomorrow's episode as well. And if not, you can always find older episodes. Just scroll through that library, give it a listen. A lot of good content here at the Patriot Angle.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, guys, tune in to tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. We're going to be streaming live once again on Rumble, which we're doing really good on Rumble, surprisingly.
Rumble's where it's at, man.
Yeah. And then we're going to stream live again on Facebook, both Facebook, the Patriot Angle Podcast Facebook page, and then also the group page, Unfiltered Patriots of America. And then also the website as well, too. So you're going to want to catch that. Jimmy, it's been great, man. We'll see you tomorrow night, bud.
I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for having me on.
All righty.
Patriot Unfiltered. You just heard an episode of the Patriot Angle Podcast, an Unfiltered Patriot Productions. Please follow us on Facebook at the Patriot Angle Podcast and Instagram at Patriot_Angle_Unfiltered. Also, you can hear every episode on Amazon Music, Audible, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcast. You can also check out our website, PatriotAnglePodcast.com, and also our unfiltered merchandise, PatriotUnfiltered.com. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you on the next one.